What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Battle of Central Europe Season 3. We're going to continue following on with Moscow 5, and this is going to be the last series of the day here on HeflaTV Hitbox 1. I'm Mike Loris. I've still got Grandis with me, and man, I have a question for you. Do you have any idea at all how to pronounce the name of our other team?
No, I'm probably gonna end up calling them Team Coast, but Drak Draper? I have no idea. I'm not even sure what sort of accent you're supposed to approach it with. It looks completely foreign to me.
Could we just call them Team Dragon? Because they have the
Dragon?
icon, and Drak seems like dragon-ish. Unless anyone in chat here, I'm gonna poll the chat. If anyone knows how to pronounce this team name, then please let us know, because we have no clue. We're just Americans that don't speak this language. So yeah, it's going to be Drak or something going up against Moscow 5, and well, this draft is actually going underway. We got Scarth Mage being banned out along with Viper, and then Death Prophet and a rather early Necrophos. I'm pretty sure, Drak, we're watching Moscow 5's last game. This is going to let Brewmaster, Razor, and Ogre Magi all get through, and they'll be snapped up.
Yeah, no big surprises as far as the heroes that are left through, but as we've seen time and time again from Moscow 5, that Necrophos, just in some key moments, if you get that Reaper Scythe kill with Aghanims, the enemy team can do nothing but sit and wait for 2 minutes while that hero is deleted off of the map, which is absolutely insane. And if for nothing else, banning out that hero for that reason is enough. And then even in the laning phase and just scaling with items, the hero just does insanely well. And Moscow 5 play with him well. It's really hard to work around the Necrophos, especially that Reaper's Scythe. As far as the next couple of heroes that might be picked up, Moscow 5, they have the Brewmaster, which is a pretty solid opener, but they're still lacking several supports, or supports of any sort, rather. So I expect them to maybe focus on those, but there's really nothing telling about a Brewmaster first pick.
Yeah, they could go for Revenge or something like that. I think the main part with Necrophos is he warps the game. Maybe not as much as someone like an IO who completely changes how the game is played, but when you have a Necrophos on the field, you are going to have to be a little bit more careful, since normally you have a full health pool. With Necrophos in the game, you have about half of your health pool, and that's dangerous. It is going to be that vengeful. Being picked up for Moscow 5, you generally don't want to open up if you can avoid it with a dual melee opening. Brewmaster into like Earthshaker would probably be a little bit too melee heavy. Tidehunter could have been a possibility, but it seems like they just don't want to go down that path. Taking a ranged stunner is never going to be a bad thing. You're never going to be too upset about the fact that you have too many stuns.
Yeah, while we have a little bit of a break in the picking, I'll just take this time to mention that Virtus Pro, they are playing on the other stream up against... excuse me. Oh dear, who was the first team that played up against Moscow 5 today?
Bulo.
Bulo. Yeah, they will be playing over against Bulo on HitboxTV/HeflaTV too. So if you want to follow either of those two teams in this tournament, that's where to go. And Bulo are actually doing incredibly well compared to the other teams. Both Moscow 5 as well as Virtus Pro are 1-1 in both of their series, but Bulo actually 2-0 Drake. So they're currently at the top of the standings. Whether you expected that or not, that's how it's all shaken down. The next couple bans have come out with Moscow 5 having a little bit of offlaner hate, with Centaur and Tidehunter both taken out of the pool. And as for Drake, they'll take out the Lycanthrope.
Man, Bulo doing pretty well. Kind of surprised me, as I have not seen or heard of them before. Much like Commander Minus in the first group, but I guess this is what it's all about. This is why we have these extensive group stages, so we get to see who's actually going to come out on top. We see Moscow 5 targeting the conventional offlane heroes, let's say Centaur, Tidehunter. Really, they are going to fit into any lineup, and they're going to make sure to take them out. And, well, Drake, they take out the Lycan and Luna. This is, I guess, it kind of seems random. Although, with the Vengeful Spirit, it is possible for M5 to go for a whole lot of pushing. With the Brewmaster Vengeful, it looks like we may be in store for a Siren game, although don't really want to watch that because it's not that entertaining. It seems like it's a possibility for M5.
Yeah, as for Drake, they'll pick themselves up as Slark, angling a little bit more towards the aggressive with Ogre Magi as well as Slark and Bloodlust. On both Razor and Slark does not go amiss. It's going to get some decent function inside this game more than most. And Slark, it's just been the flavor of the week, I suppose, carry hero that's been cropping up in pretty much most of our games. Even though Brewmaster and Venge have a decent amount of controls, Slark, there's always a chance they'll be able to get the Purge off, especially for that Magic Missile and Boulder. It's fairly easy to time it there, and it's going to be fairly reliable to get out his damage, especially if a BKB, which at some point it should come out for the Slark, is available.
Right, so knowing that the Slark is on the other end, Moscow 5 last game refused to pick up a Faceless Void as a hard counter, and this game it's not looking as appealing as last, as with Brewmaster and Void on the same team, you generally want to avoid that. They're going to go for the Puck, so we are going to be seeing a counter for the Slark in a surprise Blink Silence. If you follow up with a swap straight after or a stun straight after, you can get quite a bit done. We also might see the swap coil combo. It guarantees a stun, and if you get an Aghanim Scepter on Puck, it can potentially work out very well. Against the Slark, maybe not as much, but definitely against everyone else.
Yeah. For Drake, they're going to go and pick up a Disruptor for themselves. It's going to give them a really nice silence, especially up against the Brewmaster. As soon as he jumps in, getting that instant Static Storm Kinetic Field off onto him, as well as the Puck, is going to be a nice tool for Drake to have inside the team fights. He doesn't combo that well aggressively with the Ogre Magi, but still, Glimpse in the early portions could set up some kills, especially if they catch Puck just on the very edge where he jaunts to his Illusory Orb.
And Static Storm against both Brewmaster and Puck. It's a silence that's both AoE and comes out extremely quickly. That's exactly what you want. There is a decent chance in this game that we're going to see Brewmaster blink in, clap, and then immediately get Static Stormed, so he's unable to split. And then with the Fire Blast and Pounce to follow up, Brewmaster will fall shortly after. So it's certainly a more utility defensive support pick from Drake right now, but given what Moscow 5 have, Disruptor can certainly get quite a bit of traction. Plus, you have two Lightning heroes on the same team, so synergy.
Definitely. Right now, Moscow 5, eating very heavily through reserve time, are going to land on a Witch Doctor. They have a decent amount of setup for the Witch Doctor ultimate with the Puck ulti as well. But Drake, they have some solid ways to cancel that Witch Doctor channeling as well with the Disruptor as well as with the Ogre Magi. So positioning is going to be very difficult for the Witch Doctor, but if he's able to find that comboing all of their ultimates together, I think is going to give Moscow 5 a bit of a teamfight edge, as long as Disruptor doesn't get the best of Static Storms.
And that is always a possibility. Sometimes you see Disruptors completely whiffing with like Kinetic Field going up, they lay a Static Storm inside, and then everyone just walks out. It's kind of embarrassing to see, but it is definitely a hard combo to set up when you are just freehanding it. And generally, you're not going to be able to have that much setup outside of like a Ravage, but that's also not going to be coming through this game. Witch Doctor is going to be the pickup, as you said, for Moscow 5. King R has been playing that one pretty well, offering a hell of a lot of sustain pretty much every single time Moscow 5 have picked up the hero. They're looking for their final core hero, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of these hyper carries. Again, Naga Siren seems pretty appealing, and, well, Drake have okay tools of dealing with the Naga Siren. Nothing too fantastic. For Drake, they are looking for one more core hero, and they could also go for a hyper carry, though it doesn't seem like they want to go down that route. It is possible, but picking up something more like an Ember Spirit seems a little bit more attractive for them.
I think they're going to be looking for somebody to solo the offlane, however, and the pool there is fairly limited. This game, Darkseer might not be awful, although that's kind of wishful thinking. Darkseer has kind of completely fallen off of the face of the earth. Yeah, if they are going to go for it, I'm not sure. Let's see. If they do go for something along the lines of the Ember Spirit, how would the other lanes work? Would it just be a straight-up offlane Slark, or would there be an aggressive tri-lane?
I think they could probably get away with an aggressive tri-lane. They know that right now, Moscow 5, they have Witch Doctor Venge, which is certainly very dangerous, but they don't know who is going to be the last pick, so they could assume that Razor, Ogre Magi, Disruptor is going to be able to take care of that. Slark is perfectly capable of taking his own lane, as is whoever is going to be picked up last, so I wouldn't completely discount the fact that Drake have options for aggressive tri-lanes. It may work out poorly for them, but judging by what they have right now, what Moscow 5 have, an aggressive tri-lane, it is possible.
For now, it's going to be Drake to show their hand first. 30 seconds on the reserve time wearing down, as we're going to see what their choice is for this final pick. If they do go aggressive, picking up something slightly greedier like that Ember Spirit might be on the table, but for Moscow 5, I think their lanes are a little bit more set in stone. It looks like we have a Puck off lane with Brewmaster mid, and then we're still waiting for that safe lane farmer. The Medusa being banned out would have been really nice for them to have, and there's not really anything that fills the shoes of the Medusa easily. For Drake, it's going to be an Elder Titan, and maybe for the first time in this tournament, we're going to see that hero take up the offlane.
And usually when that happens, Elder Titans don't really have the best times. If they have a free lane, if it ends up being a 1 versus 1 lane, then usually Elder Titans do pretty well, and they will always offer you that additional bit of damage. But, even though I don't really like Elder Titan support that much, I think I like Elder Titan core just a little bit less. I'm just not a fan of the hero in general. But, yeah, usually you get your points of the natural order up if you're a support, and it will work decently for you. But, maybe Elder Titan's going to have a great time this game. If he gets a little bit of early game experience, then he could certainly put some serious hurt onto Moscow 5. Even just spiriting and then running into them and punching them could be a great way to go. And Moscow 5, well, it's a good thing we're not going to see another Naga Siren, because I don't think I'll be able to stay awake for that one. But it's going to be a Weaver. It's still going to be that hyper carry, and it's going to be, well, Drake with a couple of answers here and there, mostly in just sheer burst damage. But as far as disables, outside Disruptor Ogre Magi, they're very disable light.
Yeah, and Disruptor Ogre Magi aren't necessarily the most reliable to keep the Weaver in place, especially if the kinetic field doesn't lock the Weaver down inside the static storm. He can usually just run out of that, and a BKB will make sure that he's almost completely immune to the lockdown that Drake have.
Alright, so Weaver as the hyper carry, and Drake, well, they have, a couple of things that they could use against the Weaver, but with so many things distracting them, like Witch Doctor, with his Death Ward, Brewmaster in the split, Weaver is going to find a lot of time just in the midst of all the chaos just to run around and do pretty much anything that he could possibly want. The burst damage on Drake is going to be their strongest point, especially with the Elder Titan on the field, but again, the natural order doesn't really do that much when you're talking about Brewmaster split, and of course everyone else from Moscow 5 will be juiced up by the Witch Doctor healing as well, so I think I favor Moscow 5's lineup just a little bit, but Drake can certainly pull it out, especially if their lanes go well for them. And let's see how these lanes are actually going to form up. We do have, on the Drake side, 8 Mother going to be playing the Slark down bottom, going to be supported by Seal Kids, Ogre Magi, and Handskin's Disruptor. We also have Ace on the Razor, and Werne is going to be playing the Elder Titan.
And on the Moscow 5 side, we're going to have Blur Brain taking the puck solo off lane. Mid lane, we're going to have Vigas on the Brewmaster, and the safe lane tri lane with Tron playing on the Weaver, the supporting cast made up of Unstable on the Witch Doctor and Vengeful Spirit played by King R.
And so really solid defensive tri lanes from either side. Blur Brain on the puck on the bottom side is going to have not the worst time in the world, but Ogre Magi Disruptor with the potential of a glimpse back is certainly very dangerous for a puck. Once he gets to level 3-ish, he will be pretty safe in this bottom lane, but until then he's got to be very careful, and his level 3 might be extremely delayed. That being said, up towards top, the Elder Titan is going to be in even more trouble more of the time. He's going to place an Observer Ward. I don't know if that's going to last for very long, however. There are 2 sentries on the Witch Doctor, so Elder Titan, kind of the same situation as the puck, except he's up against more lockdown, and he does not have any tools of escaping, so good luck to the Elder Titan. It's going to be hard.
Yeah. You just have 1 clarity, and every once in a while be able to spam on Astral Spirit for a little bit of CS and farm, but getting experience is just a pretty tall order for that hero. At least for now, he's going to be left alone, but this might be at the cost of Ace's life as King R with that Invis rune. It looks like Razor might be getting a little bit too ahead of himself. He seems to be playing as if nothing is wrong, and if Vigas is able to pull the lane back, Ace might get caught out. He's going aggressive onto Vigas. Now with the Magic Missile clap, no damage is coming out from Vigas getting a full duration link, but it actually doesn't matter. They might be able to give him the rundown either way. Still, that link is going to be a nuisance, but Vigas is going to have another clap cooling down 1 second. They have another Magic Missile as well. Ace is down, and that's going to be first blood drawn by King R. There's a Fire Blast thrown up by the Ogre Magi, but that doesn't do very much to anything.
It takes some serious balls to charge forward into a Razor, even though you're literally hitting for 1 damage. Vigas is, going to call that. Basically, all you needed to do was land a couple of claps, as King R was able to do most of it. They did dump 2 heroes worth of mana pools into that Razor, but getting first blood, doing something like that is very much so worth it, especially on a mid laner. Razor is typically expected to survive, but not when he's up against roamers like this. So it's 1 sentry used from Unstable so far. I think he might take out the additional Observer, but in the meantime, Werne got to level 2, so he's going to be a little bit happier in the fact that it's going to be the Razor to take the pressure and not him. But now the pressure is going to be shifted back up towards the top lane. King R has Clarity'd up, and he's going to circle around for the Elder Titan. Getting a kill is possible, albeit very difficult with the Elder Titan this so far back. But either way, they're going to poke and prod at one another, and, well, it's going to be... Actually, this Observe Ward's sticking, so maybe the Elder Titan isn't going to die in this lane after all.
Yeah, it seems Elder Titan is doing it about the same rate as the Puck. In fact, a little bit more experience on the Elder Titan. Although, yeah, it's just about even. Puck's getting the same amount, and that's pretty surprising to me. Elder Titan's playing well and just finding a nice opening. Always having vision over the supports is definitely a big plus when they have the amount of killing potential that a Witch Doctor Venge do. Slark as well as Weaver are trading farm in their respective lanes, so that's probably going to maintain the case, but a smoke coming up from Disruptor and Ogre might be able to set up a kill on mid.
Double damage Ogre Magi is going to really open up the door for aggression, whereas otherwise it would have been a little bit difficult outside of the most perfect kinetic field you ever did see. But Seal Kid, he's going to close in Fire Blast with the damage drain already there. Kinetic field, not going to do too much, although Vigos is going to run up into it anyway. He's going to get a little bit more time as they try to kill off the Courier in addition. One more hit, and Hanskin actually interrupts his attack. That could have been a Courier kill, but instead it's just a regular kill, and that's good too.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad for them, but that Courier is surviving with very little HP. That could have been disastrous. The second Courier we've seen sniped, and this one also with the bottle. Brewmaster is going to have that available, but it is going to be the Elder Titan to lose his life with the Magic Missile, follow Paralyzing Cash. Just too much damage coming out from the supporting duo, plus the Weaver.
And Weaver can close distances very, very quickly with Shikuchi. That is level 2. It does do some pretty good damage, even with the Observe Ward being placed and sticking for the Elder Titan. There's way too much chasing power. Once one stun lands, the other one is pretty much guaranteed to land as well, not to mention the Weaver's damage. So dangerous situations for the Elder Titan up towards top is certainly going to be punished from that. Unstable's dropping incredibly low, but I guess anything for farm. He's not really in too much trouble, which Doctor is going to base very shortly. Elder Titan now taking his first death is still slightly ahead of the Weaver, who's actually, of the Puck rather, who is running a bottle down towards bottom. Once anyone really leaves on this bottom lane, Puck is going to take this opportunity to get levels, and once you get to level 5-ish, having some silence, having a little bit more threat with the orb, this Puck can very quickly be relevant, whereas Elder Titan, he does have a lot of damage, for sure, from his spirit and from natural order, but he relies almost purely on his allies to do everything, whereas Puck is more self-sufficient.
Yeah. And even without a Blink Dagger, Puck still offers some amount of threat once he gets that level 6. Level 6 on Earth Spirit, or Elder Titan, excuse me, is less important. The Astral Spirit is annoying in lane and maintains to be annoying throughout the game, but that's about all that he can really have to his name. Do they have a way to cancel his TP Magic Missile? Too late on that cast from King R, just not able to bridge that gap.
It actually did spend mana, and it was put on cooldown, even though I didn't see any projectile. I don't know if that was just my screen bugging out or something like that, but King R unfortunately uses the mana a little bit too late, which is going to let the Elder Titan escape, but still forcing out defensive TPs. Even if you're not getting kills, you're still buying space for your top lane, and you're still making the offlaner spend resources. Hanskin, he's positioned pretty aggressively. He wants to go for Vigos, like he really does. It may end up being a supporting play for them. Actually, no, they're going to open up onto Vigos. Here comes the Disruptor, but a Magic Missile from King R going to wail into this Razor. The glimpse back on the Witch Doctor is going to slow down this kill, but the kill should happen regardless. Actually, no, King R going to get stunned. Blurry Brain from the side with the Orb is going to get the kill. King R on the run. It's only a support hero, though, and Hanskin is going to die as well, so make it even in that regard. Seal Kid on the run is going to get maledicted. Vigos with a split available. Is he going to use it? Seal Kid putting some distance between him and the enemies, but a clap is charging up, and it's going to land with the orb. That's going to be a 3-for-1 in favor of Moscow 5. 8 Mother's going to pounce through. Vigos, with no man to split, has just got to run. The first hit missing from the Slark, so no Orb of Venom applied just yet. Brewmaster, I think, should be able to make it home free as Blurry Brain. He's static linked up. He has a phase shift. That's not going to do jack to save him, and he's going to go down. Witch Doctor denying himself in the meantime. And another dodge for the pounce from Vigos. Going to keep himself safe versus 8 Mother. This Slark cannot get the Brewmaster killed. Drake actually rotate quite a few heroes over to the mid lane. They get the Puck, and that's it.
Yeah. But in the meantime, Elder Titan, since he wasn't involved in that, has been able to get quite a bit, but now his free time might be punished. King R still can't get in range for the Magic Missile. He walks to the right instead of straight down towards his tower. Gets stunned, but he's not going to die either way. Able to salve up inside the trees.
Well, Vigos wants to die this one. Has the clap and a split. He has mana for both as long as he doesn't get stunned. There's the clap, there's a split, and now Werne is completely screwed. Seal Kid gonna Fire Blast Tron just for value, I suppose, but now he's going to be completely surrounded by pandas, and well, he's going to try to buy himself once again a little bit more space. Tron off to the side is going to get Thunderstruck, and he doesn't have enough mana for time lapse. He's going to go down. Brewmaster without the DPS to kill off the Ogre is also going to actually get glimpsed back right back into Ace with a static link Fire Blast. Vigos is also going to drop M5, maybe with a little bit too much aggression up towards top. Usually you can count on Split getting the kills, but Ogre Magi is, as far as support heroes go, one of the tankiest, and he is able to tank that Split for a very long time.
Yeah. And Handskin in that fight, making really good use of both the Thunderstrike, Kinetic Field, and Glimpse, pretty much using all of those spells to maximum efficiency, killing off the Weaver pretty much solo, or at least cleaning him up on the sidelines. Now he's going to be the one to die. Drops Kinetic Field, trying to save his life, but the bug and an auto attack will be enough. Time lapse this time from Tron. He does have the mana for it, will be able to take any of that harass out of him.
Alright, so it's another kill for Moscow 5. It's only a Disruptor dying, though. Disruptor, though, is level 5. Like, his levels are certainly coming up. Level 4 and level 4 on the other supports of Moscow 5. And, well, Blair Brain on towards bottom lane. He's going to get pounced and Fire Blast ignited. He's going to take a lot of damage. No way he could escape there. Unfortunately for the Puck, as elusive as he is, not going to survive that. Werner on top is going to stomp and try to run, but a Shikuchi tag will kill him off. And there it is. Tron is going to get the kill. Does not have time lapse anymore, so he's going to get pretty well roughed up, but he has a Ring of Health working. He's going to get juiced back to full pretty swiftly outside of intervention from Drake, and so far no one's teleporting in, so more kills going the way of Moscow 5. Still only 8-7, and they don't have a huge kill lead, but they are farming pretty decently. It's going to be slightly actually Drake in favor of the experience right now, as net worth being led by the Weaver, but Razor not too far behind.
Yeah, for now, Weaver really is the big winner as far as lanes are concerned for Moscow 5. The Elder Titan, surprisingly, has been able to get quite a bit of farm himself. If he had died 3 times, he'd be in a really good situation, but this is pretty much as expected for him. He still has his level 6 now, 3 points up in the Astral Spirit, as well as 2 in the Aura. He's going to be able to get those levels, and his supports are doing decently as well. I think the biggest issue for them is now Seal Kid is going to get Dream Coiled up. We'll be able to TP out as there's no further way to cancel that. So heads up play coming out from the Ogre Magi. Gonna make sure that he's safe.
Still, the Brewmaster running with that bottle is getting dangerously close to a Blink Dagger. Only 700 gold away from that, and Drake really don't have any item to match that. Razor's pretty linear as far as the items that he picks up. It looks like he's going to go for an Aghanim Scepter straight out, or maybe Drums first. One of those stat-heavy builds, but for a little while this Brewmaster has a Blink Dagger for Moscow 5, they're going to have the most powerful hero on the map. And if they use that enough, then soon the Puck will have a Blink Dagger as well, and then things get even worse, compounded for Drake. And it's only a matter of time before Brewmaster gets that item. With the split available, I don't see him dying anytime soon. Their best bet is to land a Static Storm, and that Static Storm is currently heading towards top, along with Seal Kid. Hanskin are going to look to crash someone. They might run into this Witch Doctor, and if they get a single skill on him, he's just going to die. Smoke is blown, vision is there, and now Witch Doctor, I'm pretty sure, is just dead. Glimpse right back into a field, right back into a stomp, into an ignite, into everything else, and the beatdown. Oh, he's going to get actually a little bit more distance, but he's going to go down in the end. No chance of survival there.
Yep. Even if the stomp was interrupted, even if the Fire Blast didn't come out, one more bop from Ogre Magi is going to end Witch Doctor's life. He only has 1 point in the Voodoo Restoration. I'm not a huge fan of Witch Doctor's build choice this game, going for the 1 point into Maledict. It doesn't feel useful enough to take away from that Voodoo Restoration. If you do want to invest in Maledict, 2 points are pretty much mandatory.
Yeah, it scales pretty linearly, but it just feels like one level of Maledict never actually does any damage ever, which is kind of weird. Weaver up on top, dropping pretty low, trying to go for this Elder Titan. Does still have stick charges plus a Ring of Health, but he's got to be a little bit careful up on this top lane, as there is also an Ogre Magi. Regardless, it's going to be King R. Glimpse back into the mid lane, right into the clutches of Ace. However, straight TP out. Vengeful might make it out. No. A very close range Plasma Field will do just enough damage to kill off the Venge, and Disruptor getting quite a few kills. Actually, 7 out of the 9 have been for one way or another because of Disruptor. Usually don't see this from this type of hero, but hey, he's moving around, and wherever he goes, the glimpses follow, and then deaths follow shortly after.
Yeah, just well-timed glimpses on some fairly mobile heroes, being able to find them out, and yeah, I don't know, it's well played by Hanskin. The rest of the heroes currently grouped up in mid. We have Ogre Magi as well as Razor paired up. They can't really accomplish much together, and the Brewmaster is still saving up for his Blink Dagger, although he will have that now. This is probably our next aggressive move coming up from Moscow 5, as Vigos has his ultimate, and once he has the Blink Dagger picked up inside the base, we can look for a TP into smoke into kill. I'm not sure where that's going to happen, however. I think he might end up going for 8 Mother, but the other kills might be a little bit more reliable.
Well, in the meantime, we have Blow Your Brain moving up towards top lane. They are going to look towards this Elder Titan, who is going to be pushed all the way back to his tower, right where the puck wants him to be. There's the Cask and the Shikuchi dive. Teleportation 1 coming in. It's going to be the Ogre Magi. Blow Your Brain going to dodge it for now as Brewmaster does blink in. Surprise Seal Kid. Coil onto 2. Handskin is going to get a little bit of distance on himself, but Seal Kid's going to be the one to fall first. However, Ace in the front line is going to very quickly make short work of Blow Your Brain. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade so far. Unstable, trying to TP out, should make it out alive. Weaver going to chase back down towards the south, where Vigos is still going to town on the Disruptor. He's going to get that kill as well. Now Magic Missile onto Ace as Vigos returns back to his main form. Tron, gotta watch out, he's dropping very low. He's going to dodge the Plasma Field and he will survive. King R might not be as lucky. We'll look for a deny from the neutrals. Not going to happen. It's going to be a pounce in from 8 Mother actually to continue this fight. He does land onto the Weaver, but immediately time-lapsing. Weaver should be fine for a little while longer. Unless the pounce lands, it won't. 8 Mother still wants in. Clap available. Puck going to teleport in as well. Static Link from Ace not doing anything as Puck does rejoin the fight. He's going to look to chase down 8 Mother potentially, but this is a very hard kill for them to actually take. Orb is going to be shot. Will not land on anyone. 8 Mother should be home free, although he's still in a dangerous place right now. I think Moscow 5 don't have enough to actually kill him off, and that should be the end of it.
Yeah, it seems that's the case. 8 Mother is going to make it out towards the right side. Now going to bump into Blow Your Brain. Clearly pouncing, but the Illusory of Jaunt will keep Blow Your Brain safe. Although now he's caught inside the trees. They will get vision with the Disruptor, but they can't glimpse him out of there. He was there too long, and Blow Your Brain is currently just going to sit there stuck until he uses that secondary Illusory Robe.
And he's going to want to use it pretty soon. King R over towards mid. Going to get very short glimpse. Actually, it's going to help him escape, so how nice of Handskin to do something like that. We do see Drake kind of grouped up aggressively, wanting to make a play. They know that the Brewmaster has no split, so this is probably their best time to make one of these plays. And as far as carry heroes are concerned, the Slark has been getting quite a bit, about the same as the Weaver, a little bit less so, but the Slark could definitely do a lot more with a lot less. He has power treads, and that's about it. Once he gets his Blink Dagger, which I assume is going to be the next item, he can group up with the rest of the team and make these plays. Blow Your Brain in the meantime, he's multicasted, and he is dead. Ogre Magi going to find that kill, and a very aggressive Observer Ward being placed. That's kind of going to spell the rest of the game out, as Brewmaster is going to get jumped. Kinetic Field, Static Storm, not connecting once again, as promised, but he's going to go down in the end anyway. Drake are just feeding off of Moscow 5 right now. Kill after kill after kill.
Yeah, and it's working wonders for them. Another Fire Blast in mid, although this one doesn't multicast the Stomp, interrupting the Magic Missile. King R probably going to fall, trying to get as much damage as possible. Swaps down to the south, but then ends up dying to the Plasma Field. Tier 1 tower now going to fall in the favor of Drak, and it's yet another kill going their way.
Alright, so another tower for the Drake side. Actually, their first tower for the Drake side, but still going to extend the kill lead now by 4. There's really not much that Moscow 5 can do about this. Split is up on the Brewmaster, but it's going to be unstable, who's going to get walled off by Kinetic Field. Actually, no, Handskin now way out of position is going to get hit with a stun, and they have a coil as well. Should they need it? I don't think they will. Handskin should be dropping glimpse back on Tron. Handskin going to get himself a little bit more space, but still the bugs are eating at him, and Tron really wants this kill on Disruptor, and the Weaver's bugs will get the kill in the end. Now coil onto 2. King R has a swap to stun, however, he's going to get hit with the Fire Blast. Now the Snapback on the Split Earth, going to hit Puck as well. King R going to get beaten down. Blow Your Brain trying to orb himself to safety, and he will make it out alive, but it's going to be a 1-for-1 where it should have just been a 1-for-0. It's going to be Vigos who's going to get jumped, has to split, else he just dies. And now I think Ace and everyone else from Drak are going to make a clean escape. However, I think Ace is blocked. He's going to wiggle his way out of there, and the Brewmaster using his split purely defensively. Drake, if they keep up this aggression, then Moscow 5 are not going to be able to defend because they have no split.
Yeah. Right now, Drake, they do have an opening. Their Disruptor is back in this game, and they'll actually TP up towards top. The counter push is kind of nice, but it kind of signals that they're not going to go for any sustained push down mid. Instead, they're going to set their eyes for the tier 2 tower, or tier 1 tower, excuse me, up towards top. Bottom is pretty well defended, and they don't have the heroes there to back it up. They do get glimpsed back up into Tron in the stack storm Kinetic Field. They can't get anything off, but it's the damage there. It's going to make it out to the sidelines and barely get the time lapse off. Tron is going to be able to make a clean escape, although he survives by the skin of his teeth.
Man, small things that could have made the difference there. Like if Elder Titan had maxed out Natural Order instead of 1 point Echo Stomp, he would have gotten that kill. Of course, other kills probably wouldn't have happened, but I don't know, if the Disruptor had 1 point more of Thunderstrike instead of Kinetic Field, these small things could have made the difference. Regardless, they are going to still probably find their kill. Unstable is going to start channeling the Death Ward, is going to get immediately canceled. After doing a little bit of damage to Ace, he's going to be the first one to drop as Hanskin's going to get chased down by Tron. Don't really see a way for him to escape that one as King R going to be chased down by Ace. Eye of the Storm will strike the Vengeful Spirit down. In the meantime, Werne still chasing down after Tron as Ace duels up against Vigos. Ace should have the upper hand here, and he will chase forward even through the bottling of the Brewmaster. Ace is going to be bottling as well. Blink out from Vigos. He's going to make a clean one, and Tron looks like he's going to teleport out as well, but still it's a 1-for-1. But Ace and Werne still in the area are going to be able to take down a tier 1 tower. And at the same time, 8 Mother Seal Kid on bottom lane are also working on a tier 1 tower of their own. Moscow 5, without the split, can seriously not fight decently at all.
Yeah. Even though the trades haven't been overwhelmingly in the favor of Drak, they still seem to come ahead in pretty much every single one of them. And the heroes that are living are the most important ones, especially Razor currently on a godlike spree. Magic Missile going the way of Warren, and a swap as well to try to keep King R safe, but it might not save him. Static Storm as well as Razor just getting one auto attack is all that they need. Blow Your Brain punched down by the Elder Titan. Beyond godlike now for the Razor, and 2 free kills. Moscow 5, they're just leaking way too many. Finally, they will get a little bit of something down in bottom as Tron is going to kill off the Ogre with those bugs, but it's just not working out for them. The tier 1 towers are falling in map control soon after.
And the towers are going to fall even faster now that Ace has picked up his Aghanim Scepter on the Courier. This is one of the faster Aghanim Scepters that I have ever seen. It's going to be huge for him. Oh, Brewmaster going to run straight into 8 Mother. This is going to prompt Brewmaster probably once again to use his split defensively. Actually, no, he will just straight TP out of there. So using gold to escape instead of cooldowns, probably better for him, but still, Drake, they are going to teleport the Ogre Magic down to the bottom lane, just get a little bit more dough and experience down there. But the towers are all very vulnerable right now for Moscow 5. They have the split, so in theory they can take a fight, especially if they get a Death Ward channel, but it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to do so. Vanguard for the Elder Titan, he's going to be so tanky on the front lines, and it should be a Crimson for him in this game. Bottom lane push is going to commence, and they don't even have to use Eye of the Storm for this tier 1 tower. I think they're going to save it for this tier 1, and then save it for the tier 2, rather. Just beat down the tier 1 the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. Tron, now with the BKB, is going to be pretty hard to bring down, but then again, especially once the Crimson Guard comes out, he's just going to be tickling Drak. There's not much damage that he's actually able to accomplish, even if he does survive through the team fights. It's the Brewmaster, Witch Doctor, and Puck that are really carrying the weight. Glimpse in mid. It's not going to be inside, excuse me, the Kinetic Field Static Storm immediately, but now since he has dropped back into it, he will end up falling on the sidelines. It's going to be unstable. Dropping low to the Razor, and one more Astral Spirit will bring him down 2 for 0.
And Seal Kid left behind. He might be a casualty right now as Vengeful Spirit looking for a swap back. Tron should throw some bugs soon. He doesn't do that much damage to the Weaver, but it's only a support, and he might have enough to kill off this Ogre Magi. In the meantime, Puck is going to be chased down and killed off by the Disruptor as Seal Kid, still on the run, is actually going to make it out alive. So Drake, they teleport everyone to the mid lane. They defend their tier 1 tower. It actually doesn't even take that much damage, and they also, get a whole bunch of kills to boot with no casualties. Nothing but wins for Drake, extending their kill lead now up to an outrageous 10. And, well, Razor still has that Eye of the Storm available to him. 13 seconds until it's back up. Crimson Guard going to be picked up, and we have an Aghanim Scepter in the works for Disruptor. There are big items coming up for Drake right now, and Puck, he still doesn't have his Blink Dagger. And no one else on M5 are really building anything significant. As you said, BKB, Weaver's not going to die, but he's not going to do any damage either. So you could 100% ignore him, and then once his BKBs get dropped lower, then kill him off after the BKBs are done.
And once the Aghanim Scepter comes out for the Disruptor, BKB or not, it doesn't matter if he gets caught in the Static Storm. Vigos is going to be able to split before the silence comes out from the Disruptor. It was still on cooldown for 4 seconds. And now with the split, he's going to try to do as much damage as he can to this Elder Titan, but he's incredibly tanky with the Crimson Guard. They'll instead decide to go for Hanskin. He's a lot easier to kill off. He has the Static Storm. He's going to drop it, but BKB comes out from Tron. That's going to mean the Disruptor is going to die without doing very much of anything. But in the meantime, Ace gets a kill and then dies as well to the Witch Doctor ultimate being channeled. Vigos now going to be stunned up by the Fire Blast, focused down by the Slark. He is also going to die. I didn't see that Razor exchange over by the river, but it's ending up going to favor Moscow 5, trading their support for the Razor's life. It's actually not included inside this fight recap, but all said and done, I'd say that that's fairly even.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just got coiled into Death Warded, and I mean, he may be pretty tanky, but if you are in a Death Ward for that long, it's not called Death Ward for no reason, right? It does do some pretty decent damage, so Drake are going to take finally a fight that doesn't purely benefit them, but it's not going to stop their aggression as they have pulled out the split of the Brewmaster, and as long as they have their Razor with them, they will be able to go for the rest of these tier 2s. Weaver also using his first BKB charge out of necessity, and it's just a matter of time before that dwindles down to a very low amount of duration. Razor is now back up, and well, they don't have the Ogre Magi down the bottom lane, but they're going to push that one regardless. They want the Ogre Magi to eventually get himself to that Aghanim Scepter, and he's farming okay for support heroes. Like, he's actually getting a lot of space, and that's space that normally you don't see supports getting. It's going to be 8 Mother, first of all, baiting for Tron. He's going to throw out some bugs, know exactly what he's up against. He has time lapse available, this Weaver, so he's not in any trouble of dying right now, but still Drake, they're going to open up onto Vigos. They're going to Static Storm him. Completely unnecessary, but they will get the kill regardless. Earth Splitter just for good measure. Tron going to try to chase down this Disruptor in the meantime. I don't think Disruptor has really any means of getting away from this except for Crimson Guard, and now Tron, showing the weakness of his low damage, is going to be jumped upon by 8 Mother, glimpsed back, and dusted. He actually will time-lapse after the dust, and he should be just fine. Blair Brain and King are going to come from the side. They will kill off the Disruptor, but Ace and Seal Kid getting a chain stunned up by that Death Ward of Unstable, who will be punished for his insolence, will be brought down. In the meantime, the rest, Werne and 8 Mother, are going to clean up everyone off to the side. It's going to be only the Weaver to escape, running off to the right and south. TP out. It looks like Weaver will survive, but 2 separate fights going there for Drake, and they win both of them.
Yeah, the only casualty is that Disruptor, 4-for-1 exchange, and now they're going to be able to transition this into a tier 2 tower push. They don't have Aghanim Scepter on the Razor, but does it really matter? No. Too much damage when you have this many heroes right-clicking into the tower, and Slark's going to be able to get that tower destruction. Drake are just getting so much more out of this map, and their items mean more than the items that Moscow 5 are building. So we now have a very mixed build coming out from Ace. He's going to purchase himself up an Ultimate Orb after going for a casual plate mail. I have no idea what Ace is actually planning on building. Maybe it's a Scotty, but it could also be a Lincoln's.
He has a couple of options. I mean...
Oh no, that's 8
Ace,
Mother's Ultimate Orb. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a Soul Cuirass and a Scotty. So everything is
all
normal,
is right.
Everything's fine.
And now something isn't normal and something's not right as Handskin has to use the bathroom.
Well, if anyone has to go, you might as well go right now since Hanskin's going. So take a quick look at the state of this game. We got 2,200 gold on the Elder Titan. Already with the Crimson Guard has been showing off some serious value, mostly protecting his Disruptor, as that has been the usage of that item for the past 2 or 3 times. But versus the Weaver, he will be pretty much completely brick-walled by that item. Ogre Magi, not with much advancements toward his Aghanim. Slark is actually very close to his Scotty. It would be one of the faster Scotties that I have seen. And of course, Razor, if he gets an Assault Cuirass very quickly, it'll mean that everyone at Moscow 5 will be even more impervious to the Weaver. But also the tower destruction is going to be so much easier for the Razor, as the minus armor combined with the Eye of the Storm is really brutal.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah. Weaver's next item. It seems that he's going to go into a Desolator, although Maelstrom wouldn't be awful either if he really needs something to get some damage quickly. Either way, it's not going to be up immediately, and once he does have it, its impact is going to be fairly mitigated. I think Maelstrom might actually give him more damage, especially since the Assault Cuirass is coming out from the Razor. Just that extra magical proc might be more useful, since the BKBs are not out for Drak, and they might never be.
Yeah, and double procking lightning off of the Germinate attack is pretty freaking sweet for any hero if they could pull it off, and Weaver is the only one who actually can. I think Drake, well, now they found a double damage rune. I mean, they still have 2 tier 2 towers to take, and if you're not going to go off of a DD rune, then what the hell are you waiting for? They already took down the bottom lane pretty convincingly. They could very easily go for the same exact thing on the other side lanes. However, they're sitting on this double damage rune for now. Maybe they are waiting for an additional item, or maybe they want the Slark to pick it up. Either way, they're going to try to defend their bottom lane. Tron should be able to take this one out by himself, and he will. Fortify is going to pop because it's free. Why not? Disruptor now going to teleport himself into here. He will get the tower deny, actually. And now Tron's going to be pounced upon. They need the Static Storm if they're going to kill him off. But he has a BKB if things get really hairy. There's the dust after the time lapse, and now BKB TP out. Tron is going to make a clean escape, although it's going to be very expensive, as BKB is almost down to the minimum already. And he doesn't even have any damage items. Like, he has 713. This Weaver actually has a remarkable score, but it just feels like he's not doing anything.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem with Weaver. It does take one or two major items before he's able to pick up the pace, especially when you back off for like a Magic Wand, Aquila, Power Treads. These are nice items to have, but he also goes for that casual Ring of Health that ends up being sold. It's not a whole lot that's being lost by the Weaver, but it's also contributing to the fact that his score is a little bit deceptive. His items aren't immediately amazing, and also they're starting to scale down. Blink behind the tower, but the Slark pounce connects onto Unstable, and Unstable is going to fall before this fight even begins, if there's going to be a fight at all. The 2-2 tower is gone, and there probably isn't. Brewmaster's not in a great position, has to get out of here fairly quickly. And the 2-2 towers are falling around Drak. Pounce going to miss, and Split comes out for the Brewmaster, but I don't think the Split's going to net them any kills at all. And that's one of the big team fight ultimates Moscow 5 are relying on to take convincing fights. Vengeful Spirit's close inbound. We'll be able to throw it to Hal, but this Brewmaster ultimate did almost nothing.
They have another glimpse onto King R, and they will bring her right back in. Vengeful Spirit has buyback, but with no split, what can Moscow 5 really do? Assault Cuirass isn't quite yet up on the Razor. Just needs a little bit more gold until he has that one. He has still the Eye of the Storm, now level 3. It's going to be Drake not going to push high ground. They're going to instead go and secure Roshan. In the meantime, Werne, he's going to try to defend the top lane tower. Please, Tron, at least get one tower to your name. It's going to be denied by the Elder Titan. So much spirit damage. It is hard to outlast hit that. Near impossible. And that's going to be the second tower denied to the Moscow 5 side out of the 2 towers that they've already taken down. Roshan is still being continued, and Vigos is going to come right in. Static Storm is available if it's needed at all. Well, Vigos is just going to walk in and die. Sure. You could do that, I guess.
Well, without any split, there's not really any purpose in dropping the Static Storm. They're going to hold on to their cooldowns, and their fighting potential is just so much greater than that of Moscow 5. Assault Cuirass now completed by the Razor. They're going to mop up the rest of this Roshan. Now they have double life for either Ace, probably Ace, or Ape Mother, whoever decides to pick it up first. Ace is going to drop his TP scroll and then pick it up again. We now have a Desolator onto the Weaver, so he will be able to do a decent chunk of damage, especially to the supports. It's still not going to be enough. He might be able to assassinate the Disruptor, but even if he kills him off, he should be able to get the damage out with that Static Storm in the team fight anyway.
Yeah, Weaver is actually the only one on Moscow 5 outside of Brewmaster who could actually do stuff. Like, maybe the Death Ward, once it's level 2 with an Aghanims, can actually have some sort of impact in the game. But for right now, a level 1 Death Ward running up against an Assault Cuirass armored team is going to do next to nothing. Puck Coil is always going to be semi-relevant for repositioning Drake, but that's about it. I mean, Drake should have so much more net worth right now. And you take a look at the net worth. We have Weaver on top for Moscow 5. I mean, he has Desolator, kind of makes sense. Then Brewmaster, Puck, and, well, their contributions are going to be fairly limited against the bulky nature of Drake. With the Assault Cuirass, with the Crimson Guard, just all this good stuff for them. They're going to go down top, and this tower is not long for life. They don't even have their Slark right now, who is also, 2,000 HP, 28 minutes into the game, is pretty insane. And if they could somehow bring Slark down once, that'll be great, but Aegis. So you got to do it twice, M5, and I don't think they have what it takes. It's going to be very close if they make a defense at all. This time, though, they actually do have everything. Like, they don't have anyone dead. They have all of their ultimates, so if ever they make a defense, this is their best time to do it.
Yeah. And we've kind of already mentioned it. It's not a great time to do it either. They do have a decent amount of tower pushing potential with that Desolator, and they might be able to get this tier 2, but their base is going to be in full breach very shortly. Jump into the backlines by the Slark. He connects with King R, and with that damage coming out from the Plasma Field as well as that Astral Spirit, it's way too much. And Tron, he's going to be pounced on the ground, and he's probably going to be forced to timelapse very shortly. Dropping low, there's the timelapse, but Ape Mother hasn't even dropped below half. Now forced to pop the ultimate, still has the Aegis, and diving on the backlines, just running interference as the Razor's ultimate rips through the barracks. Range to fall melee is now taking the whole brunt of the damage coming out from Drak, and this is pretty much going to be a free barracks plus a Vengeful Spirit pickoff. And GG, called out by Tron, they can do nothing.
If Moscow 5 can't defend, or even can't consider a defense on one of their Raxes, with all of their skills at full strength, they actually just can't win the game anymore. Like, they have to either try to go for a defense and fail and then call GG, or just GG with knowing that they aren't going to be able to defend anyway. So Drake, they take game number 1 off of Moscow 5 after really turning up the aggression with a lineup that I wouldn't expect to be playing this aggressively. But we'll see if Moscow 5 can bring it back now in game number 2, because this is a 2-game series. Here on HeflaTV Hitbox 1, we're going to be right back with the last game of the day, guys, so don't go anywhere.